The size of our universe is mind-boggling. There are more than 100 billion galaxies, and each one of them holds hundreds of millions of stars. Black holes and neutron stars are of particular interest, but there's a problem. You can't see them with a normal telescope. So astronomers are using a gigantic radio antenna to observe them. Here at Jodrell Bank in Manchester stands one of the biggest radio telescopes in the world. It has a diameter of 80 meters. But despite its size, the telescope gives the astronomers only the resolution of a human eye. Far too little for the 21st century. Astronomers can improve the resolution of their observations by linking up telescopes all around the world. This way, they can effectively simulate a telescope of the size of the Earth. This technique is called VLBI, which stands for Very Long Baseline Interferometry. Initially, the data of the telescope is not an image, but arrays of numbers which are recorded on tape. Alistair Gunn makes sure that these recordings in Manchester take place at the same time as in the other telescopes, so that the data can later be linked together.
An astronomer has time on an array of telescopes, and he gives each of the VLBI stations a schedule to follow. And at the stations, they all set up their equipment to observe at the same frequency, it's the same object at the same time, and they all observe and record their data onto the tapes, and they're sent off later on to a correlation center, and the data is combined later on.
Linking up telescopes all around the world has been done since the late 1960s. The procedure has hardly changed since then. After the recording has finished, the astronomer doesn't even look at the data, but sends the tapes directly out to the correlation center at Dwingelo in the Netherlands. Here, scientists receive the tapes from Manchester and up to 16 other radio telescopes around the world, such as 2 of them in China. The data sets of one observation is then fed into supercomputers, where they are correlated. This means the data is aligned and run through computer programs to transform them into useful images. Shipping large tapes back and forward is becoming outdated, and Mike Garrett, director of the correlation center JIVE, would like to replace the tapes with something faster and more reliable.
One problem we have at the moment is that when we use magnetic tapes, it takes many days, weeks, even months before the data are actually correlated here. So we don't get a picture of the source until many months after the telescopes have actually observed them.
A potential risk is when one telescope is recording disturbed signals because of a fault. This problem can only be discovered after correlation with the other telescopes. Astronomers want to correlate the data immediately to see whether the recording has been successful. But for this, they would need a very powerful network, where they could shuffle the data quickly to the correlation center. GÉANT is a new network which has been established specifically for scientific applications. When the network is completed, it should support up to 10 gigabits per second. The scientific community is excited by the possibilities the new network offers.
If we basically could plug this equipment into the end of a fiber optic cable and the data goes straight to a correlator, it would make our working lives so much easier, as well as producing more reliable and efficient observations.
In Dwingelo, Mike Garrett is already preparing for the arrival of this high-speed network. In 2002, the first tests of the system were promising, when data was sent from Manchester to Amsterdam at a rate of about 500 megabits per second. Now it's a matter of time and money to set the whole system into place, increase the rate even further, and start working in real-time radio astronomy.
Without GÉANT, then I think we'll be very limited on the type of science that we can do. We'll be able to do what we do at the moment, but we want to go way beyond that and be able to detect and image the most distant objects in the universe. GÉANT, with the data rates that are available on that network, will permit us to detect those sources and to do that cutting-edge science.
With the help of the new high-speed network GÉANT, radio astronomy will enter a new chapter. Scientists will be able to observe an object almost instantly and use the time at the telescopes much more efficiently. And then it may be only a matter of time until radio astronomers will solve some of the mysteries the universe still holds.